So again, keeping that alignment, middle of the hip, middle of the knee, down to the second toe. Really stretch the toes long against the floor. Inhale. Exhale, engage pelvic floor, belly button. Tilt the pelvis north, pressing that lumbar spine down. Lengthening the back of the neck and slowly peel one vertebra at a time off the floor till you form that diagonal straight line, knee, hip, shoulder. Inhale, float the arms up to the ceiling and back behind the head. Hands a bit wider than shoulder width apart. Elbows are soft, opening out the chest and shoulders. Then tuck that tailbone under and come down one vertebra at a time. Through that flat back position, back to neutral. Inhale, float the arms up to the ceiling and gently back down by the side. Breathing in. Exhale, tilt the pelvis north, press that lower back flat. Push through the feet and slowly peel your spine, bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra, till you form the straight line. Chin down, collarbones wide. As you take the arms back, watch you don't roll onto the sides of the feet, so keep the weight on the 3 points of the feet, big toe, middle of the back of the heel, and slowly come down one vertebra at a time, bone by bone, through the flat back position, and then back to neutral. This time, just float the arms up to the ceiling, and then as you press them down, tuck the chin in, lift the head off, and come to a half curl up position where your arms are parallel with the mat. Then if you need to, just move the feet a couple of inches forwards, use your arms if necessary, and then slowly continue to peel up, stretching up through the vertebra to a sitting position. Nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, feel like you've been punched and winded, and slowly rock back on those sit bones and start to come down one vertebra at a time. Watch you don't overflex in that upper back, so keep the collarbones wide, and every couple of inches retuck the tailbone and drop the shoulders. Retuck, drop the shoulders till the head is gently back down on the floor. Breathing in. Exhale. Draw your shoulder blades down, lift the head up and tuck the chin in. Just raise the hands off the floor and then continue to peel the spine. Grab behind the knees if you need a little assistance getting up. Stretching tall, breathing in. Exhale, tuck that tailbone under, keeping that core nice and tight. And every couple of inches, retuck the tailbone, drop the shoulders. Retuck the tailbone, drop the shoulders. And lying back down. Inhale. Exhale, slide the shoulder blades down, engage the core, tuck the chin in, look straight through the knees, and slowly come up to sitting. This time, stretch those legs out. And then lengthen and reach forward, just placing the hands either side of the legs, whatever point they get to. And then just lowering the head down, drawing the shoulder blades down and back. Just take a couple of breaths into the sides and into the back of your ribs, the Pilates lateral thoracic breathing. Seeing how deep you can go in the stretch, opening out the back of the legs and the lower back. And then gently coming up to sitting with the hands at shoulder height. Breathing in. Exhale again, feel like you're being punched and winded, and slowly come down one vertebra at a time. Breathing out as you go. When your head hits the floor, just reach the arms up and overhead without hunching the shoulders, without flaring the ribs. Then exhale, lift the arms up first, lift the head up second, tuck your chin in and slowly roll up, one vertebra at a time. reaching again forwards into that stretch, drawing those shoulders down. Take a couple of breaths into the sides and into the back of your ribs. And then lift up. This time lift the arms up and back. Turn the fingertips to point towards you, or if you prefer, you can have them turned the other way if that feels easier. Bend the knees for reverse table if you want to make this a little easier. Otherwise, keep the knees straight, roll those shoulders back, lift the breastbone, gauge the core, and let your gluteal muscle drive your hips up to form that diagonal straight line. Take a couple of breaths here, zipping up that tight pair of jeans. Try not to collapse in the shoulders, lift the breastbone high. It's almost like you're trying to pull away from your shoulders and arms, lifting that torso up. And then gently release. Hands to the floor would be easier. Hands to shoulder height, a little bit more challenging. Arms above the head. More challenging again on the abdominals. So taking a deep breath in. Tuck that tailbone under. Be mindful to keep dropping those shoulders away from the ears every couple of inches, and to retuck the tailbone every couple of inches. When your head hits the floor, inhale, stretch the arms back behind the head. As you exhale, lift the arms up first, lift the head up second, and slowly peel up. Breathing out one vertebra at a time. Letting those arms just slide along either side of the legs, dropping those shoulders down. But trying to go a little deeper into this hamstring stretch each time you're in position. Again, take a couple of breaths into the side and into the back of the ribs. And slowly rolling up, arms up and back. Turn the fingertips forwards. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, engage core, and lift the body up nice and high as you can manage. If you wish, you can stay in this position. Otherwise, the right leg lifts off the floor. We lift up, bring the big toe to the knee, stretch it back up, and gently down. Without sagging or rotating the hips, repeat that with the left. Otherwise, just stay as you are. Lift, bend, stretch, and down. And gently release. Either hands down to the midline or up above the head. Gently come down. Keep dropping the shoulders, tucking that tailbone under. Navel tight. And the head goes down last of all. Option to lift the arms up first, followed by the head, or if you want to make it more challenging, the arms and head lift at the same time, together. And the arms must stay either side of the ears. So gently, either arms first, then the head, or arms and head together, lifting up. Trying to keep the arms either side of the ears, straight over again into the stretch. Each time you arrive in this position, trying to go a little deeper into the stretch as the body starts to open out. And then gently release, coming up, lifting the arms up and back. Trying something a little different this time as the butt comes off the floor, for those that want to try. You can see if you can lift an arm off the floor. Now, to lift an arm off the floor, you've got to transfer your body weight over to one side. Whereas when you lift a leg, you don't have to do that, okay? But to lift an arm, you've got to move your body to one side in order to lift the arm. Otherwise, what happens is your pelvis will twist, which is what we don't want. So it's just a shift, but without any twisting of the hips, okay? So arms up and over, fingertips towards you, breathing in. Exhale, drive the hips up using those glutes, and either stay in this position or bend the knees to make it easier. Otherwise, see if you can transfer your body weight onto one hand and lift the arm up. Or you can lift the leg up if you prefer, and then shift your weight across to the side, to the other hand. And then gently release and slowly come down. Breathing in, slowly use the abdominal muscles to come down. On that last third of the movement, trying to avoid gravity taking over. This time you can keep your arms straight and do the version as before, or you can interlace the fingers, clasping the hands behind your head as if you're going to do a curl up, and we'll do your Pilates neck pull position. So it's just like the roll up, but with your hands behind the head, so it's a little bit more challenging. And when you come to that sticking point, which is just about here, kind of give yourself a little oomph. Your hands might separate a little bit, but continue to move if you can. Otherwise, arms stay straight. Breathing in. Exhale, engage core, and lifting up. All the way straight into the stretch. And gently lengthen coming up. Slowly down, one vertebra at a time, dropping those shoulders away from the ears. And again, one more time. Exhale, coming up. Stretching down into the hamstring stretch. And coming up. Rolling back, tucking under, tucking under, tucking under. And then stretch the arms back behind the head once again for your Pilates teaser exercise. And we'll start this, we'll do the right leg first, then the left leg, and then we'll do both legs. So breathing in. Exhale, arms up to the ceiling. Now when your fingertips reach the 12 o'clock mark, lift just your head up, just the head, tuck the chin in. Now as the shoulder blades lift, simultaneously lift the right leg. Grab hold of the back of the leg. Rather than pull the leg towards you and make you lean back, pull you up to the leg. Give yourself a hamstring stretch. Drop those shoulders down. Pull it in nice and tight. Then let go. Try to hold the leg up there. And then slowly, the head and the heel should hit the floor at the same time. And then stretch those arms behind you. Inhale. Exhale, arms up first, head up second. As soon as the shoulder blades lift, simultaneously lift that heel. Coming up. Place the hands behind the leg and pull your torso towards the leg. Stretching that hamstring at the back of that left leg. Drop the shoulders down, push the head up. And as you let go, try to keep the leg up high. Using your quadricep muscles, and then slowly head and foot hit the floor at the same time, arms come back. Now for those of you that want to, you can take both feet off the floor. Remember, it's easier if you bend your knees. If you need assistance, you can grab your hands behind your knees to help you get up. Otherwise, continue doing single legs. Exhale, arms up first, head up second. The heels and the shoulder blades lift at the same time. If it feels difficult to hold this position, bend the knees or just stay holding behind the knees if that feels a little easier here. Now, first rep, nice and easy, placing the feet down, tuck your tailbone under, squeeze the knees, feet are together, rolling back down, stretch out the arms. Inhale. Exhale slowly, arms first, head second, peeling up, either bending the knees, and you just got to watch the lower back here, that it stays tucked under. If the legs are quite low, it can often pull your back into an arched position, then you're going to pull on the spine, in which case bend the knees. Now you can either put the feet on the floor and then roll down, or the more advanced version, lower the body and the legs to the floor at the same time and at the same speed. Inhale. Exhale, arms up first, head up second. As the shoulder blades lift, simultaneously lift the heels and come up at the same speed. Again, if you want to make it easy, drop the knees to the floor and roll down from this position. Otherwise, provided it doesn't pull on your back, that tailbone under and lower the legs and the upper body at the same time. Breathing in. Exhale, coming up. Arms, head, rolling up. And then either bend the knees, put the feet on the floor, or slowly come down. Last one, inhale, exhale, arms up, head up, slowly coming up. Holding, holding, and then gently coming back down. Gently bring the arms down by the side and bend the knees. Engage the core and then float up one leg in the air at a time. So the legs are outstretched at 90 degrees from the body, knees directly above the hips. You can bend the knees a little if the hamstrings feel somewhat tight. And we're starting with your Pilates roll over. So this is where you're pressing your hands into the floor and you're pushing the legs overhead. Then we open out the feet and then we slowly come back down, one vertebra at a time, until our ankles are above the heels. Then we continue pushing the legs away as far as we can keep a stable pelvis, then close the feet and then we come back again. If that feels a little difficult, just hold and stay in a pelvic tilt where you're just lifting that tailbone off the floor. And then again, you can push the opposite direction also. So here we go, breathing in to prepare. Exhale, engage pelvic floor, belly button, tilt the pelvis north, press that lower back flat into the mat, bringing the legs towards you, press the hands into the floor and take the legs up and over. Now if you want a little bit more of a back stretch, you can keep your feet close to the floor and take the legs a little further back. Otherwise, just keep your feet roughly level with your hips. Don't worry about if the knees are straight or not. Open out the legs, push out through the heels. Now, if you want to make it about the flexibility, bring the legs close to your head. If you want more abdominal work, push your feet away so the legs come up more towards the ceiling. That will create more abdominal work for you. And then your job is now to come down one vertebra at a time in a nice controlled manner, trying to keep the head on the floor. Try not to let gravity taking over. So use your core to bring the spine down one vertebra at a time. Keep the legs shoulder width apart. And exhale as you push those legs away, pointing the toes without arching the back. Close the feet. And then again, bring the legs up and overhead. So more flexibility. Your feet will kind of touch the floor and go further behind the head, but you've got to be wary of the neck. Otherwise, feet level with the hips. Then open out the legs. Shoulder width apart, flex the feet, push out through the heels, and slowly come down under control, one vertebra at a time. The slower, the more control you need, and therefore the more strength you need. Keep the feet hip width apart, point the toes as you push the legs away, even if you're just pushing them an inch beyond that midline. Wherever you can manage to keep a stable pelvis, neutral or imprint, as long as your back doesn't arch. Feet together, and then again, we come up and over. So wherever you want to leave the feet, again, don't worry about if the knees are slightly bent. Open out the legs, pushing through the heels. And then slowly coming down, one vertebra at a time. Breathing out as you go. And then point the toes when you're at the midline. I like to imprint the spine here, pressing that lower back flat towards the mat. Then the feet close. We'll do that one more time. Lift up and over. Wherever you can manage to go. Lift the legs up, open out, flex the feet, and slowly coming down, bone by bone. Through that midline position, pushing those legs away, pointing the toes, close the legs, and bring them back to the middle. Bend the knees in, give them a hug. Continuing with the abdominals. From here, we're going to open out the arms to the side. And we're going to inhale as we push the legs away, and exhale as we hug them back in to the chest. So it's a double leg press. So be wary of your lower back. If you want to make it easier, push up towards the ceiling. The further away the legs are, the harder. Or keep the knees slightly bent as you push away. So here we go, engaging the core. Inhale, open out the arms to the side, palms facing up to the ceiling, pushing the legs as far away as you can keep the pelvis stable, preventing the lower back from arching, and exhaling as you give them a hug, drawing the shoulders down. Inhale, opening out the arms. Exhale, pulling them back in. Give them a hug. Inhale, opening out. Exhale, coming back. So if your legs are quite low, just be aware what you're employing to hold the legs out, because it's generally the glutes, the quads, and the inner thighs. They help to stabilize the pelvis. So if you're squeezing those leg and butt muscles to help out and do the job of the core in order to get your legs low, then it might be better to keep your legs a little higher and then take out those muscles. So don't squeeze the knees together. Keep a few inches distance between the two legs so you've not got those inner thighs helping out. Bend the knees slightly so you've not got those quads helping out, and then keep the butt relaxed. And just see what difference that makes. If you close your eyes and you get your legs low with the kneecaps pulled up, squeezing the glutes, the quads and the inner thighs, and see what difference that feels to the work in your core, as opposed to when you don't push your legs as far and you keep the knees bent, quads relaxed, you keep the legs slightly apart, so no use of the inner thighs, and you keep the butt relaxed, and see what difference it feels to the work in the core. Yes. So apart from that, also observe as you're moving the range of movement. Okay. Notice when you have a bigger range of movement, you're more inclined to speed up. And in particular, speed up the return journey, bringing the legs back in. So if we have less range of movement but really slow down that return journey, it can make the abdominal work so much harder. So sometimes it's better to do it with your eyes closed, because then you're not really thinking about where your body's at or what it looks like. You're more kind of tuned in with your internal environment, that world of sensations and feelings. You can kind of home in on, does it really feel harder to lower the legs and squeeze the glutes? Or does it feel harder when I have less range of movement but I can go slower with more control and I'm not using the leg muscles and the glute muscles? So you decide. You might have to use the leg and glute muscles in order to stay stable in the pelvis. So it's about really finding what way works best for you, your body and your stability. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale as we stretch out, and exhale as we come back. Inhale as we stretch out. Exhale as we come back. And then put the arms down by the side. Keep the head on the floor. I'm going to stretch those legs back up. Again, bend the knees to make it easier. But don't completely lock out the knees either. Okay, there's a softness there. So knees directly above the hips. We're going to breathe in. As we exhale, engage pelvic floor, belly button. I just want you to turn your hands, so the back of your hands is on the floor and your palms are up and your fingers are lightly curled. Keep the core engaged and look at your left knee. And as you push that right leg away, make sure that that left knee doesn't come in towards your chest to compensate. Keep it above the knee. And just push that right leg, again, bearing in mind what I said. Try not to completely use those leg muscles to help you out. Yeah, you're going to soften the knee. And then slow down, almost twice as slow even, the return journey, because you can work actually harder on the way back against the natural tendency to relax and just bring that leg in and think the work is over. Now look at your right knee, breathing in. Exhale, pelvic floor, belly button. Push that left knee away, making sure the right knee stays above the hip, pressing that lower back flat towards the mat, sucking in that navel, slow motion, bringing the leg back. So find the speed that works for you, where it's challenging but you're not completely struggling. Breathing in. Exhale. So it's super slow. So again, often best done with the eyes closed, homing in on that internal environment. When your right leg's gone to its maximum limit, just pause before you bring it back and see if you can press that lower back a little flatter towards the mat and hold the right leg out. If you're able to, provided your back doesn't arch, see if you can move your left knee just a half an inch away from the chest without your back arching. If that action results in your back arching, then don't do it. And then slow motion, bring that right leg back. Inhale again. Exhale, pelvic floor, belly button. Slowly pushing that left leg away. Again, either pelvis is in neutral or imprint with a slight pelvic tilt, pressing the lower back flat. And then when you're at the maximum limit, you've got a choice. You can actually bring the leg back, or you can maybe push that right knee half an inch away from the chest, and you'll feel the increase in the abdominal work. But it mustn't be so difficult, bringing the leg back, that your back gives way and starts to arch. So it's a fine line. Breathing in. Exhale, pushing that right leg away. You might start to feel a little bit of work in the hip flexors at the top of the thigh. They do have to work. Pushing the opposite knee away if you're able to. And then gently bringing that leg back. So notice if the body starts to get tired, to limit the range of movement. Exhale, push away. So change and adapt accordingly as the body gets a little bit more tired. Pushing that leg away. And then slowly coming back. I do one more on each side. Inhale. Exhale, pelvic floor, belly button, pushing that leg away. Slowly returning. And again, exhaling as we push away. Slowly returning. And then bend the knees in. Give them a little hug. Placing one foot on the floor at a time. And then interlacing the fingers behind the head. So coming to work into the oblique abdominals now. Breathing in to prepare. As you exhale, engage pelvic floor, belly button. And then slowly curl up head, shoulders, shoulder blade, just into the midline of the body. So no twist at the moment. So first of all, make sure your ears are in front, or your elbows are in front of the ears to take the weight of the head. That your fingers are fully interlaced completely, because the head is going to act like a hammock. Hold this position. Head acts like a hammock, so your arms act like a hammock, so holding the weight of that head. Now curl up a little bit higher, keeping the hips square. So remember, as you curl up, you'll only be able to maintain neutral with a certain degree of lift. Once you go past a certain height, your back will automatically press down. It can't not. So work towards your limit. If you need to stay neutral, you might need to stay a little lower. I'm going to take that left hand away from the back of the head. Back of the hand goes onto that right thigh. Breathe in. And then slowly push up towards the knee. Now turn the palm and reach the fingertips up to a level where you think you can't reach any higher. Keep the butt muscles relaxed. Keep the legs and hip flexor muscles relaxed. So plant your tallest fingernail where you think you can't reach anymore. And you're looking at your tallest fingernail. Breathe in. As you exhale, pull in the core and curl up another half an inch. Till you get a little shake, and then come down half an inch, so we're staying up really high. Leg muscles relaxed, butt muscles relaxed. Inhale. Exhale, curl up, up, breathing out until you get a little shake where you're coming out of that comfort zone and you're into that challenge zone. Breathing out, curling up, curling up, curling up. Breathe in just an inch down. Exhale, curl up, Draw the shoulder blades down. Have a look at your hips. Make sure that both hip bones are of equal height, 1/2 inch down, so that you're not over twisting. So look at the fingernails. Exhale, push right up till you get a little shake that you're lifting so hard you physically couldn't lift any harder than you are. Down 1 inch. Exhale, sucking in that pelvis, that tailbone, coming up, coming up, coming up. Relaxing the hips and glutes. Down 1/2 inch. Exhale, slowly pushing up out of that comfort zone into the challenge zone, sucking in the belly. Taking another vertebra off the floor, maximal effort. Down 1 inch. Inhale. Exhale. Notice that you're not stretching the arm out of the shoulder socket to get higher, but instead that you're taking another vertebra off the mat to get higher up. You might get a little burning sensation. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Exhale, curling up, curling up, curling up. Reaching the fingertips as high up the thigh as you physically can. Keeping those hip bones level so you're not rocking the pelvis to one side. And then down. And then coming up again. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Now take that foot off the floor. Back of the hand once again, turn the palm. Up 1 inch, down 1 inch. Up 1 inch, down 1 inch. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. 4, 3, 2, hold it up. Stretch the leg up. Hold it for 10, very still. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Gently placing that foot down. So now, breathing in. Exhale, curl, head, shoulders, shoulder blades off the mat. This time, taking our right hand to the outside of that left thigh. Make sure you don't rock to one side. Both hip bones have equal weight on the floor, the backs of the hips. The knees point directly up to the ceiling. Inhale. As you exhale, curl up higher, taking another vertebra off the mat. So keep the knees pointing up to the ceiling so they've not rolled to one side. Because we're twisting to the left, make sure that right hip bone is down and level with the left. Then just turn the palm. And now, see how high you can come up with those fingertips towards the top of the knee. And when you think you can't come up any higher, hold it there. That's your start position. Breathe in. Exhale, curl up a little bit higher. Not by pulling the arm out of the shoulder socket, but by curling the spine up and down. Now don't over twist because you don't want that right hip to come off. Curl up high, hold it. Down just 1 inch. Exhale, coming up and looking at that right knee, looking at that tallest fingernail, because your body follows where the eyes go. If your eyes are looking way over to the left, then you're likely to over twist. Down 1 inch. Exhale, up 1 inch. Make sure the lift comes not because you're stretching the arm out of the shoulder socket, but because you're taking another vertebra off the mat. Down 1 inch. Exhale, suck in the belly, coming up 1 inch. Right up, right up, right up. And then down 1 inch. Exhale again up, keeping the leg muscles and the butt muscles relaxed. Really contracting, lifting as high as you can, and then some. When you think you're at your end point, give it a little bit extra oomph. Down just 1 inch. Exhale, up an inch. Sucking in the belly. Down an inch. Exhale, up an inch. Sucking in that belly, pushing up, up, up. Down an inch. Exhale, lifting, lifting, lifting. Down an inch. And then lifting that knee up into tabletop position above the hip. Back of the hand on the side of the shin. And lift up as high as you can. And then up an inch, down an inch, up an inch, down an inch. Exhale, inhale. Lifting a little higher. Blowing out the candle each time you lift and lift and lift and lift and lift and 3, 2, 1. Stretching that leg up, coming all the way up towards the ankle and holding up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Bending that knee down. Keeping the hands on the floor and the knees shoulder width apart. We're coming into your shoulder bridge exercise for your glutes, the butt muscles, helping to stabilize the pelvis. So you're going to breathe in to prepare. As you exhale, engage pelvic floor, belly button, tilt the pelvis north, press that lower back flat, elongate the back of the neck, and slowly peel up one vertebra at a time, till you form that bridge position, knee, hip, shoulder. Then place your fingertips on the crest of each hip bone at the front. And the hands are here checking that there's no rotation, no dropping the hip to one side or the other, no sagging. Yeah, so the key to shoulder bridge is to squeeze those glutes. Clench your butt muscles like a fist and keep that core zipped up to stay stable. So you're going to breathe in to prepare. As you exhale, raise your right heel up off the floor. Now, if you don't want to take the foot off the floor, all you have to do is raise and lower the right heel. Notice as you raise the right heel, I want you to push through the left heel and clench the left butt cheek. So there's a little bit more weight on that left side than there is the right. Otherwise, if you can take the foot fully off, bring the knee up above the hip in tabletop position. From here, I want you to extend the leg until it's level with the opposite knee without dropping that right hip to the right. So squeeze and clench that left butt cheek. Inhale, bringing that leg back. And again, you just got to make sure that you haven't dropped down and sagged. So again, clench that left butt cheek to drive your pelvis up. Exhale, pushing away. So level with the other knee or higher if that feels easier. And then bring it back. Exhale, push away, clenching that left butt cheek. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, push away. Inhale, bend the knee in. Exhale, pushing away, clenching that left butt cheek. Inhale, coming back. And then placing the foot gently down. Readjust. And then we're going to repeat on the other side. Lifting that left knee up or lifting and lowering the left heel if not. And then exhale, extend that leg till it's about level with the other hip and then bringing it back. Exhale, extend the leg, squeezing and clenching this right butt cheek. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, push away. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, push away, clenching that right butt cheek. Inhale, coming back. 2 more. Exhale, pushing away. Inhale, coming back. And exhale, pushing away. Inhale, coming back. Placing the foot down. Spine curl, back down. And again, breathing in. Exhale, pelvic floor, belly button, tilt the pelvis north, slowly peel up one vertebra at a time till you've got that diagonal straight line. And again, you can keep your hands on the floor if you wish, or you can put them on the hip bones as a guide to know where your pelvis is. And slowly lifting up again, that right leg, this time stretching it up to the ceiling. Flex the foot, toes towards you. Exhale, push the leg down, so kind of level with that left knee. You can push it beyond the left knee, provided you don't twist the pelvis. Point the toe and come up. Exhale, flex the leg, push down. Inhale, point the toe, come up. Exhale, flex down. Inhale, point up. Exhale, flex down. Inhale, point up. Exhale, flex down, keeping the hips level. And as you push that leg down, simultaneously squeeze that left butt cheek. 2 more. 1 more. Hold it up, bend the knee. 10 little clenches with this butt cheek. Push, push, push. Release the foot down and change leg. Lifting that opposite leg up. Stretch the toes up, flex the foot. Breathing in. Exhale, push the leg down, point the toe. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Notice you should only feel this in the glutes, maybe the legs. If you feel it in the lower back, then drop your body to a closer position to the floor and tuck the tailbone under to more of a hammock position to make sure that you haven't arched the back or twisted the pelvis. Exhale down, inhale up. 2 more. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up. Bend the knee. Clenching that right butt cheek, push up, up. Gently place the foot down and then spine curl back down. Bend the knees into the chest, give them a hug. And then gently stretch the legs along the floor and stretch the arms overhead. And then we're going to roll over onto the floor, lying face down. So placing the arms either side of the body so that your elbow is level with the shoulder, like a 90-degree angle, almost like a fork where your head is the middle prong. So working on the back muscles, coming from Sphinx into Cobra, but starting off small, breathing in. As you exhale, roll the shoulders back. Push the marble away with your nose, lift the forehead, the nose, the chin. Keeping that 12th rib down on the mat, sliding the scapula down away from the ears, pushing the back of the skull towards the ceiling, almost giving yourself a double chin in the process, and trying to feel the connection in those mid-back muscles. That bottom rib stays connected to the mat. And then coming down, chin, nose, forehead. Breathing in again. Option 2, forehead, nose, chin. Roll the shoulders back. And lifting the chest, but keeping that last rib on the floor. pushing the back of the skull towards the ceiling. So option 1, you keep your forearms on the floor. Option 2, the forearms come off the floor. So this, with the forearms off the floor, is considered more weight bearing. So again, weight bearing is going to strengthen the bones, the vertebra. So good for osteoporosis. Then place the hands down and then come down, chin, nose, forehead. Option 3, breathing in. Push the marble away with your nose, lift the forehead, the nose, the chin, roll the shoulders back. Option 1, forearms on. Option 2, forearms off, good for osteoporosis. Option 3, hands are on, but forearms come off. And you're into Cobra Pose. Now, legs apart is much easier on the lower back. Feet together is much more compression on that lumbar spine. But if you let your belly stick out like this and hang to the floor, rather than this, pulling the ribs in, pulling the navel in, you've got a lot less support and a lot more compression on that lumbar spine. Looking straight ahead, shoulders down, make sure they're not hiking up around the ears. Pull out through the leg muscles, squeeze the butt, and as you squeeze the butt, pull in your ribs, pull in your belly, and push through the hands so that the shoulders aren't hunching. Your lower back will have a lot more support. Then come down via your elbows, chin, nose, forehead. Breathing in. Push the marble away with the nose, forehead, nose, chin. Option 1, forearms on the floor. Option 2, take the hands and forearms. Option 3, come up to Cobra. Now, the further forward your hands are, the easier this is. If you want to make a strong Cobra, you bring your hands almost under your shoulders. But that's a lot of compression for the spine. So it just depends if your back can handle that compression, or if it's better for you to have your arms a little bit further forward. And then gently down via your elbows, chin, nose, forehead. Breathing in, forehead, nose, chin, roll the shoulders back, whichever option you choose. If you're in Cobra, you can bring the left hand into the midline, look over your right shoulder, lift your right arm up in the air, bend the right heel, and then bring the foot towards you, stretching the quadricep muscle, and then arm overhead, and then you change. Right hand into the midline, look over the left, take the arm up and bring that left foot without hunching that shoulder, keep pushing away. Stretching that left quad, release, coming back, and then gently down via the elbows, chin, nose, forehead. Now, hands go under the shoulders, and we're going to roll the shoulders back, and you're going to come up into a 3/4 press up. So keeping the knees down, I want you to squeeze the glutes, and as you squeeze the glutes, tuck the tailbone under and push your pubic bone into the floor, zip up the tight pair with jeans, push through your hands, and without arching your back, you got to push up to here. To make this easier, start in this position. So you're not in a box position, yeah, you are in a 3/4, that diagonal straight line between knee, hip, shoulder. So it's much easier to start here and just go halfway down to there and then up. Because if you're going to go all the way down to touch the floor, what you've got to avoid doing is this.
lifting the head and doing some kind of cobra, and then your back lifts or your butt lifts afterwards. So if you're going to do press-ups from this position, you've got to keep that plank position all the way. You've not got to start going into a cobra, then lifting your butt afterwards. So if you feel you're going to do that and your back is going to give, start here, upwards, and then just go halfway down and then come up, okay? The key is to squeeze those butt muscles. Tuck the tailbone under so you're not going to stick your butt out. So, off you go. Exhaling as you push up. Inhaling as you bend either halfway or full way. Also watching those shoulders. Inhaling as you're coming down and exhaling as you're pushing back up. Inhaling as you're coming down and exhaling as you're pushing back up. Inhaling as you're coming down, exhaling as you're pushing back up. So it's not an easy one. If you started off on the floor and you find yourself starting to arch your back, then change tactic. Go halfway down and then back up. Rather than struggling and losing form and technique, think about less range but much better form. All the bits in the right place. So doing what you can. Yeah. Better to start limiting the range, going slower, because that requires a little bit more strength. And then gently sit back on the heels in Pilates rest position. And then sitting back, rolling up one vertebra at a time. Bringing the right leg forwards, coming into stretch. Getting that left knee as far behind the left hip as you physically can. Coming to hip flexor stretch with a spinal twist, opposite elbow to knee. Hands together or one hand on your lower back. And if you need support, you can have one hand on the floor if you like. Option to take the back leg off the mat. If you want to add in a little bit more balance. And then straighten the front leg. Option to have the back knee on the floor or off the floor, whatever works for you, provided you want hip hitching, so moving that right hip back. Dropping the head down. And then just turning inwards and turning the palms outwards, turning your head to the right, taking that right arm around. Now I want you to turn the left foot out to the left. And then just allow the pelvis to rotate, just in order that you can twist a little bit further here than perhaps you would if the pelvis was level. Notice with the addition of the foot turning out, you've got that stretch in the inner groin at the top of that left inner leg. And then release, turn that foot back in. Now look to the left. Take the left hand off. Notice how you can't twist as much until maybe that right foot turns out and you allow a little bit extra rotation of the pelvis here. Normally we keep the pelvis level, but just to open the foot, to open the inner groin, and to just allow the pelvis to move so that we can just get a little bit more rotation in that thoracic spine. And then release. Turn towards your left foot and drop the right knee down to the ground as you bend that left knee. Take that right arm off the floor, right elbow on the outside of that left knee. And again, if you need support, you can put one hand on the floor, one hand on the lower back. Option to take the back knee off the floor. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Hands either side of that front foot. Straighten the legs, or you can have the back knee down on the mat if you prefer. And then lengthen that left hand side of the waist by pulling that left hip back, but keeping that left big toe pressed into the floor. Shoulders down, back flat. Reaching down, feeling that hamstring stretch. And then stepping back with that leg into down dog and just loosening off those calf muscles, bending alternate knees. Pushing both heels down, walking your hands back towards the feet. Turn the toes out so your heels are together and your toes are apart. So like a little V position. Bend your knees and raise your heels. Like this. Heels together. And then as you exhale, lift your butt in the air. Keep the heels off the floor. Drop the head down. As you inhale, bend the knees and lift the head. If you've got any knee issues, just have a small bend, stay up at the top range of the movement. Otherwise, inhale, look up. Exhale, straighten the legs, head down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Keeping those heels off the floor. Working into those quads. 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, 1 more. Bend the knees. Bring the knees together. Back nice and straight. Staying on your tiptoes if you can. Slowly pushing up, staying on the tiptoes. Arms up, shoulders down. Either to here or lower. And back up. 2 more. Exhale as you push up, keeping that core nice and tight. Feet together,
lower the heels, hands pulling up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your glutes, push your hips forward, hips out to the right, side stretch. From the armpit down to the waist. Without twisting the torso. Headlamps on the hip bones shining forward and onto the shoulders. And up. And the other way. Notice if one side is more flexible than the other. Breathing into that top rib. See if you can get that top arm horizontal to the floor. Keeping your ears super glued to each arm. Try not to bend the elbows. And then back up. And then final roll down. Toes pointing forward. Weight on the 3 points of the feet equally. Big toe, little toe, middle of the back of the heel. Soften the knees. Breathing in. As you exhale, turn your torso to the right. Not your hips, just the torso. Bring your chin down to your right shoulder. And then one vertebra at a time, roll down on the right. When you get to your limit, transfer, sway over to the left. And then slowly let the stomach pull you up, bringing you up, back on that left-hand side. Now keep the upper torso twisted to the left, not the hips. Hips stay forward, chin down towards that left shoulder. Work your way down the left, noticing any differences between right and left sides of the spine. When you get to the bottom, sway over to the right. And then slowly rolling back up. Head comes up last of all. And one last one to finish in the center. Inhale, engage pelvic floor, belly button, nod the chin forward first, and then slowly, one vertebra at a time, breathing out. When you get to the bottom, shake out the neck, shake out the head. And let the stomach anchor and pull you back up against an imaginary wall behind you, bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra. Head comes up last of all. And then just loosen off head, neck, shoulders, shake it out.